So good morning everyone, and it is a bit early in the morning to be off travelling again, but here we are. We're just setting off for our first proper road trip in a few months after coming back from Scandinavia, and we're really excited to get going again. So we are on the Eurotunnel at the moment, so we should be in France in about 30 minutes, and we'll be spending a bit of time in France this time, but ultimately we are looking to get towards
the sun.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice because it's blinking perishing at the moment. So we're in France. We're about an hour and a half drive, I think, down from Calais now. Maybe not quite as much as that, but we're just getting our first experience of French toll roads. So yeah, about an hour and a bit on the toll roads, €12.30. I think it did say it was a 24-hour ticket, but we don't really know how it works, if I'm honest. But that's fairly expensive to be starting off with. So driving the way we have today, or the way we've planned to come, it's by design to some extent. Like, we are following part of the Western Front from World War One, the Battle of the Somme. So as we head south, we do detour to the memorial at Vimy Ridge. As you walk towards it, the land is amazing, really. Really scarred still after all the shelling that went on there. Areas sectioned off because of the danger of live ordnance. And the memorial itself is so imposing, massive, at 27 metres tall. We are just parked up in Arras, and this is in our first proper French air, which is excellent. €13.50 for tonight, and that includes a couple of years worth of water, electricity, electric, which is electricity.
Yeah.
Did have a brief stopover on the way here, and this is something that's going to feature quite a bit in the next few days, I think. We're right in the middle of Western Front World War One territory here, so we stopped off at the Canadian Memorial in Vimy, which was pretty sobering experience, especially in light of we watched All Quiet in the Western Front just before we came away. Obviously telling the other side of the story, but just, yeah, horrific, and the landscape and everything is really scarred there still. So yeah, it really sort of brings home what happened in the so-called Great War. So, Arras, what a beautiful, beautiful town. Yeah. Lots and lots of history there. I'm going to bore you with something now, which Steph will point out, I'm sure. But 80% of the town was destroyed in World War One, so a lot of the centre has been rebuilt in the original style to sort of honour what it was like before. So that was pretty cool to see. We walked through like a lot of back streets to get there, but when it opens up, it's such a pretty town centre.
Yeah, it was lovely. It's Sunday today, so nothing was open, but it's still really, really nice place.
Oh wait, what happened though? First time in history, I walked past the pub. True story.
So we had a great night last night in our little air. Yeah, really quiet, great services. We've woken up today to some really nice weather. It was raining first thing, but the sun's out now and it's really nice and warm. Freezing cold yesterday, so we're quite glad of that. And we're doing part of the Somme Remembrance Trail, so we'll see you when we get there. So as we drive through miles upon miles of flat agricultural land, increasingly we start to notice little towns and villages, memorials creeping up, cemeteries on the side of the road. It's hardly surprising given that this area was such a focal point of the Battle of the Somme.
At Mamet's Wood, we visit the Welsh Memorial. Had to, really. And a sad story echoes throughout the whole Battle of the Somme, really. A terrible waste of human life, ultimately resulting in a victory, but a cost so high it hardly feels like it. Next up for us is the Somme 1916 Museum in Albert, located under the basilica in the centre of town. This really was an excellent museum, and through artefacts recovered from the area and also written accounts from people who lived through it, it does a really good job of showing what life in the trenches was like. Fascinatingly, it's actually located underneath the basilica in the tunnels used by locals to shelter from bombardments during the war, some of which date back to the Middle Ages. Following that, we visit the Lochnagar Crater Memorial in La Boiselle. This is a bit of a mind-blowing spot, really. A huge mine detonated underneath the area, which contained a German fortification, causing a crater which is 100 metres wide and 30 metres deep, and throwing earth 4,000 feet into the air. Sort of numbers you can hardly even factor, really, as you look at it. Next morning, we visit the Thiepval Museum and the memorial. That was the largest British memorial in the Somme, and it's dedicated to the lost and missing of the Somme. And the museum really is a peaceful place. There's a fantastic mural there explaining sort of different stages of the conflict, and really worth a visit if you're in the area. Then finally for us, the Beaumont Hamel Newfoundland Memorial. Now whilst this memorial is beautiful, it's not quite as imposing as some of the others we've seen, but the setting is so emotive, with trench lines still existing that you can wander through, and again craters scarring the landscape as far as the eye can see. So we are just making our way now from the Somme area up towards Normandy, or across towards Normandy. We were burned by our experience with the toll road on day one, so we decided to save ourselves a bit of money and take a non-toll route, but of course that comes with its own problems. So yeah, got a lot of driving through smaller towns. Obviously takes longer to get where you're going. We quite like it, it's really nice farmland everywhere as far as the eye can see. Really cute little towns you're driving through, but yeah, it's taking you a bit longer to get where you're going. So you pays your money and takes your choice, or don't pay your money and takes your choice. So a fantastic stop last night. Another great example of the air de camping car that we found in France. This is the St. Clair air de camping car, and I'll have to tell you where it is in a minute because I can't remember. But we're on our way between Amiens and Honfleur, so somewhere in between, just inside Normandy. So for €12 a night, I think it was, you get your electricity and your water supplied with that. There is Wi-Fi allegedly, although as is typical with these things, non-existent pretty much. Not that that's a massive issue for us. Lovely little site, toilets and showers. You pay extra for the showers, obviously toilets you can use, laundry on site as well, so yeah, really good. So next morning we're back on the toll roads, although by design this time, because we want to cross the Pont de Normandy from Le Havre into Honfleur. The toll road was about £8. The Pont de Normandy is around €7.10 to cross. So tonight's stop is in the town of Honfleur. So we've just come over the Pont de Normandy, the bridge leading from Le Havre to this part of Normandy. Another air to camping car for the night, €12 for, and that includes electricity, water and waste disposal. Interestingly, a lot of negative reviews of this site on Park for Night, and it just goes to show, I guess, how relative these things can be, really. I mean, we would be crying out for something like this back home in a lovely little town like this, getting absolutely slated because there's potholes and the electric isn't up to much because it's a bit old, and yeah, so different standards, different expectations, I guess. So after reading about Honfleur, it was a must visit for us, and I'm so glad that we did. It's such a lovely town, and in a lovely setting, really close to the coast and the river. And the actual historic harbour is beautiful. Now, it's one of the most visited towns in France, and I can absolutely see why. It was lovely and quiet when we were there, plenty of room in the air as well. So yeah, win-win, excellent stop for us. So, we're a few days into our trip now, and I have driven in France before, but it's quite a long time ago. But I'm pleased to report the roads are fantastic. Doesn't matter if you're in the small villages or in the big cities or the motorways or whatever. It's really easy to get around, except where the Welsh Memorial was in Mametz Wood, which was a bit like going off-roading in the van, which made a bit of a mess of it. Couple of other things. Not many people speak English around these parts, which is absolutely fine. At the end of the day, it's not their native language, but certainly compared to some of the other places we've been, yeah, you know, you're going to be struggling a little bit. Having said that, everybody is lovely. We haven't come across anybody sort of fitting the trope of the grumpy French person at all. Everybody's been fantastic and really helpful when you know, they're willing to go the extra mile and trying to help with the language and stuff. So finally in Honfleur, we get our laughing gear around some of the local stuff. The lovely cider, which is a must try if you come here, and the cakes from the patisserie, the best we've ever had. So yeah, now we're parked up for the night in our air, and we've been into Honfleur, which was beautiful, such a pretty little place. It was very quiet today. We were chatting to the guy in the cider shop, and he explained that things are only just starting to open up again after the holidays, after Christmas. So we're finding that quite a bit as we're travelling around. It's fine. It means it's really quiet in terms of the air and stuff as well, which is fine by us. There's no problem. So yeah, cheers. Speak to you soon.